put the score up today. What was the final score in the championship today? And you're very welcome to the Sunday Sports Show here. You're very welcome to the Sunday Sports Show here on Destination Newery on All-Ireland semi-final night again. Well, Simon, I suppose probably from our point of view, it's not an All-Ireland semi-final night. It's an All-Ireland sort of a semi-final because the game ended up a draw.
It did. Not 19 to 2-13, and it was a cracking game, strange game.
It was a strange game, Simon, and you know, there was an awful bit of me wanted Galway to win, and there's a wee bit of me wanted Kilkenny to win, and then I have to say, probably thought at the end a draw was a fair result.
Draw was a fair result, but what did you think of the last free?
I thought it was a free. I have to say, I thought it was a free.
And it was a bit of a dive.
Well, you know, okay. If you go back to the save by the goalkeeper.
Oh, yes.
Super save.
Oh, phenomenal.
And then the referee says he lay on the ball. Hard one to call in that situation, you know. Like I was thinking, is this a penalty? But it's not, it's a 14-yard free.
It was under
or a 13-metre free in terminology.
Yeah. And then the penalty with...
I thought he was going to go for it. But Simon, he probably looked up at the clock, seen the time. Okay.
He had his options and he said, right, take the point.
And where did he
point ahead?
He put the slither out of the stadium almost.
But it's the whole game, I said, Galway got off to a flying start. They needed to get off to a good start to get the momentum going. And they got the ball rolling 3-0 up. And then Joe Canning's goal. How we get that space is beyond me.
Simon,
that's the greatest defence that's ever played that game. And he run through them like a knife through butter.
But, you know, I've always said it, and you've heard me lots and lots of times. The shimmy, and if you have the body swerve.
Yeah.
And the body swerve is absolutely fantastic.
Oh,
and he just ghosted around him. But then again, you know, just you knew it was a goal as soon as it left the stick.
Oh, of course you did, yeah. And it was just the momentum he carried through. And you're talking about, as I said, the best defence that played the game. Like, he ran past Delaney as if he wasn't there. And like, JJ Delaney, like, seven All-Ireland medals, most experienced fullback on the planet. You know, and just...
But Simon, you know, I have to say, you know, you talk about experienced players. Joe Canning is 23.
Yes.
Right? 23. And the man is just, he's sublime. Oh. And then when you look at Henry Shefflin, I mean, Henry has done it so many times. Yes, he has done it so many times. And he stood up today. But, you know, that was a big call for to go, take the point or go for the penalty.
Well, I tell you what, it's probably showed leadership at a very, very critical time. And he showed leadership the whole way through the second half. The move from full forward to centre half forward, like he started the game in the wing, but he went to full forward. But he seemed to be out of the game quite a bit. Came back into centre half forward. And that actually changed the game. Because in the second half, in the middle third, Kilkenny started to dominate. And we were able to eat into the lead and eat into it. They didn't panic at all the whole way through the final, even though at one stage it looked as if they were going to get crushed.
Well, I think, Simon, if you go back to the last 2 or 3 minutes of the first half, where Kilkenny got, you know, they got a good run and had 2 or 3 points, and Galway sort of probably lost a wee bit of discipline, right? They lost a wee bit of discipline. But what they actually done then was they come back and they clipped on a score right at the end, which was so important. Yeah. And then the second half, obviously Kilkenny was always going to come back. We knew that from you know, watching Kilkenny throughout, and mighty stuff. So they come back and obviously they done the bit. So
yeah, now Burke got the second goal, fantastic goal too.
Simon, it was just, I mean, I'm delighted it was a draw.
I'm glad too. It was like nobody really deserved to lose, and you can see even the intensity at the end with Cody.
Yeah, and the two managers having a bit of a go along the line, you know.
I think it was over that free actually as well. Because I think Cody wasn't too enamoured about the free being given.
Well,
but Burke played a canning, like stood up to the mark, took the free, cool as you like, extreme left hand side, straight over the bar.
Simon, here's one for you. Joe Canning standing up under the Hogan stand. Wasn't the Hogan stand away on the left?
Hogan stand side, yeah.
And hitting into the hill end. Was the hill end, right?
The hill end, yes.
Very cute angle. Galway down to be a point deep in injury time. 81,996 people, 1,000 people watching that game, right? So Joe Canning got a slice of the gate for the replay.
I'll tell you what, talking about the replay, it's
it has caused serious friction
already.
Because folks, if you haven't really realised this, the finals on the replay's on the 30th, and what else was on the 30th?
All the ladies' finals.
All the ladies' finals, and now the ladies' finals, I believe, have been pushed back to the 7th of October. And Armagh's involved in that, and I know from a few of the Armagh girls, they're not very happy about it.
I wouldn't be too, because I'm sure all the promotion has been done, all the programmes have been printed, all the posters are out. The teams are prepared for those dates. Probably booked their hotels.
Yeah,
I never thought of that.
I never thought of that, Simon. So let us
the
know, folks.
logistics behind that whole thing. When I said 30th, I was sitting there going, the 30th, that's the ladies' finals day.
I never twigged that on.
And then I said to myself, what are they going to do? And then I just found out when you told me it's been moved to the 7th. And I'm saying to myself, say for example, James Daly and the guys in Armagh, I'm sure they have all their preparations done.
Simon, I can tell you, the Armagh ladies are not happy.
I'm sure they're not.
I can tell you that now. And
I wouldn't be too happy. What was wrong with, playing it next week?
Well, yeah. What was wrong with next week? You
know, modern technology, you can print out tickets like...
So you can print out tickets from the county grounds. Yeah. There's no problem. So we have to say, Simon, we think this has been a kick in the teeth for ladies football from the GA.
I was just going to say, more or less said you're second-class citizens, in my opinion.
Yeah, funny enough, now I seen a couple of tweets coming in, and that's what we're saying. So, folks, if you have an opinion, get on the bottom of the comments line there. Let us know what you think of the ladies' football. Finals been moved to facilitate the draw in the All-Ireland hurling semi-final today. It was, I can tell you, it was a cracking game, and we had King Henry versus the Young Pretender.
Yep.
And I can tell you, Simon, you can talk about King Henry. He still has it, and I've always said it.
He still has it.
Class rises to the top all the time.
Oh, he's just
and the big man in the middle of the field, titanium for Galway, mighty man.
Mighty man. But I said that funny, I was chatting to my friend Davy Carr, and he was saying he reckoned he was man of that match. But like the first few minutes, he actually went over in his ankle, Yarra and actually looked very, very painful. But got up and soldiered on.
He soldiered on for the cause, and I can tell you, the West, you know the way they say the West's awake? The West is buzzing at the moment, Simon.
Oh, of course it is.
Mayo in a couple of weeks' time, the hurling back again.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be some fun, I can tell you. So let's get the comments coming in here, folks. Whatever part of the world you're in, we want to hear from you, because last night, Simon, down in Armagh, we played Destination Newery. Yeah, Destination Newery, their first ever live streamed match from the Armagh Championships, and we sort of decided that, you know, the county board, fair play to the Armagh County Board, they rolled in along with us, and it was sort of like a soft approach towards the whole thing, and we went out live, and the response that we got last night was phenomenal. It was that good that we decided that we'd do the second match, Pearse Oaks and Ballymacnab. But Simon, you know, one of the comments that came in last night, and this is an amazing thing. A young fellow overseas, he says, you know, you do not know what this means to me personally, sitting here watching this.
Oh yeah.
So it proves one thing: when Destination Newery decided to do this, this has been proved that this is the right thing to do.
It was the same on Friday night. Now, unfortunately, I didn't see the games in Park yesterday Friday night because I was at my own championship match in Newcastle. But I know, like, there was guys watching it, and people were actually texting me scores from sitting in their house.
Simon, and I also know if you look along the bottom of the screen, you can see the results coming from over the weekend and different things. Simon, it was a huge response from Armagh last night, and I got Jerry Flynn to come in with me in the second game because it was hard going in the first one. So because there was a lot of emotion involved in it, because Cara Cruppen was playing, and I had a son playing in it, and for a young fella 17 years of age, Simon, he had a fantastic game. And he was disappointed. He had a great shot for a goal, a super save, and he was telling me he was disappointed it didn't go in, but what he done at the end, Simon, along the line, he worked awful hard and he won dirty ball, played the ball out, went out to Mark Rice, and Mark Rice actually hit an impossible score to draw the match. Carrick-Crumpton winning the match by 5 points. Okay.
Well, Damian, that's some turnaround because like they gave you an absolute tanking 2 weeks ago, didn't they?
They did, but that was the league, so I wouldn't have been too concerned with that.
That just shows you the difference between league and championship.
There's no doubt, Simon. But 5 points, and we go back to the 5 points. Last Wednesday night, our ladies was playing Clonerne, winning them by 5 points at half time, and Simon, we ended up getting beat. We only scored a point in the second half, and it was so disappointing because we made stupid mistakes in the second half. But I could sort of see that coming on last night again. Yeah. But fair play to Carrick-Crumpton. Sarsfields worked awful hard, and they got the goal. That man Stevenson came in from Boston, cracking score, got the goal, and then he clipped on a couple of points. But 30 minutes, Simon, Carrick-Crumpton was dead and buried, down by 2, and they showed some character to come back. And I actually think we might have that. We might have the last minute or 2 of the Carrick-Crumpton match. Sean, I think we have it there, have we? So we're going to roll it here.
Less than half a minute. The ball comes out. It goes long. Kicked up by Sarsfields, it's on the ground, picked up here. Will this game end in a draw? Carrick-Crumpton, Billy Joe Patton, he offloads the pass, the ball goes back to Conor Boyle. Conor Boyle's down on the ground, the referee says that's a free. David Kelly's going to be pushing this one, he puts it long, there's 4 or 5 Sarsfields men in there, it's gathered up. McCullough comes out, he's down over on the far side, referee says play on. Keenan has a chance here, he looks round, he gives it back from an impossible angle, it's pushed in and it goes in and it's over the bar. It's a draw, get it on here, right at the end, 32 minutes gone. Carrick-Crumpton have pulled this game, and I can tell you, Jared Davlin will blow the whistle. Mark Rice came into the game.
He caught the ball, gave the Paul Keenan offloaded to Mark Rice, and then Mark Rice pushed it over from the corner. Probably, a fair result. And John Morrison, the great legend that John Morrison is, who was involved in Donegal, Mayo, and Armagh,
Jordanstown as well.
Jordanstown, and coaching young fellas, and one of the very few men that has compiled coaching books. And he's going to be launching one of his new coaching manuals in the near future, and hopefully Destination Newery will be able to come on board and help him on that one, Simon.
Yeah.
But John gave the analysis at half time. Sarsfields were playing with a couple of sweepers, and then he says Sarsfields have to get rid of the sweepers, and then they've got to move them up the field and go man to man, and that's what happened, and it actually worked. It worked well for them.
And who got the goal, Damian?
Stevenson got the goal for Sarsfields.
The lad was in Boston,
yeah. Yeah, and probably more. I think our boys switched off. So the replay is on next Sunday, 3:15, in the athletic grounds in Armagh. And Simon, the response that we had around the world was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. We had everybody from, I suppose, as somebody says to me, we had them from Timbuktu to Tullysarn last night.
That's exactly what I say for, you know what I mean? I know for a fact, my good friend Sean Paul, we were talking to him before the broadcast. He was saying to me, like, being able to watch a down championship is unbelievable in the south of France. Being able to watch local games. I say obviously we had the championship as well. We had 2 cracking games on Friday night. And for once it was right, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, and of course, Simon, I know Jean Paul's watching in the night from Carcassonne, France, and he was just telling me there it's 28 degrees.
Yeah.
He's been in the swimming pool all afternoon.
It's well for him, isn't it?
Somebody it's a tough life over in France, Jean Paul.
But getting back to the game on Friday night, big game on Friday night, obviously, Rostrava-Clonduff. A cracking match, 3-13 to 2-14.
And of course, Simon, that game was covered on Destination Newery.
Yeah.
And I think last week, you guys tipped Clonduff to win that one.
I called Clonduff to win it, but the game before it was actually quite, which was the intermediate championship match from Drumgath and Annicall. Drumgath and Anniclone. And like people were tipping Anniclone maybe to go far in the intermediate Ulster. And Drumgath beat them. Seen Paggy Downey scored 6 points, was on fire again. I said that he was on fire against us a couple of weeks ago. Phenomenal effort by him. Phenomenal effort by Drumgath, because like you're talking about Anniclone towards the top of Division 2 and Drumgath in Division 3. Now they have won Division 3, but like they've been playing very, very well this year. They came second Division 3 to Glasdrummond. I think they won. But the fact of the matter is, they're in the intermediate semi-finals, along with our good sales.
Yeah, and Simon, your own club had a fabulous result.
We were, to be fair now, Damian, on Friday night we were blessed.
Well, Simon, that's...
We were playing Breda, and Breda up and coming in. It came out Division 4 this year. Just on the programme here, folks, just to get my notes. But Breda, I was walking into the ground and I was coming around the back of Bransford Club into the stand in Newcastle. Next one, I hear a cheer. And I didn't know which teams were playing, and I saw our defenders walking down with their head down. Goal after 15 seconds. And then 2 minutes later, another goal. So we're 2 goals down. We're actually 2-1 to 0-0 down after 7 minutes. And at half time it was 2-6 to 0-6. But we rallied. Said young Danny Nolan and young Keelan Devlin for Breda scored the 2 goals. 2-6 to 0-6 at half time, but we rallied, made a few changes. I have to say, personally speaking, my own opinion, I thought Paddy McGill came on as a sub for the ball squad, a phenomenal game, centre half back, half back along with Ryan Lynch. And we got together in midfield. Big Daggy Burns and Neil Tumley started dominating in midfield, and pushed Dugan into the full forward line. Long Paul McCullough did very well, and young Stephen Moan, Gavin Moan, doing a lot of work up and down the wings, and eventually got the goal, brace level, about 5 minutes to go. Scored a point, and then they missed a penalty. So like it was all, you know, all guns blazing.
Yeah.
So eventually we got the result, and I'm sure Raymond and Brian were Raymond Tumley and Brian Irwin and the backroom staff were all very happy. I hear Brian gave a rousing speech at half time because we're getting a bit of 6 points. But I can imagine that Paul's a good mate of mine from Queens, just took over there at Breda 2 weeks ago. And him and Q Daly, remember Q Daly from Crossing Glen?
I do indeed, yes.
Well, him and QE are in charge of Breda at the moment. And I have to say, they've done a brilliant job. Very, very young side. And so they're ramping out Division 4 along with Dundrum this year. And I think they'll do well next year in the new Division 2.
And tell me this, Simon, has the draws been made for the next round?
The draws haven't been made yet, as far as I'm aware, for the quarter or the semi-finals. But,
so the Bosco...
We're in the semi-finals.
Semi-finals, and of course your good friend Paddy Kilty would be happy with that one.
He's very happy because Dundrum, they get through, they won as well, and they are through to the semi-finals of junior.
And of course, Paddy would have been watching the night, but unfortunately...
He had to go to LA, so far.
He's way to LA. So Paddy, if you're going to LA tonight, safe journey. Simon, you know, I suppose when we look at Destination Newery and we think of the strides that they've taken forward, there is another show starting now on Wednesday night. Stephen Poocher will be having a live show on Wednesday evening, so something to look forward to, folks. So just follow the Destination Newery, and Stephen will be in giving his opinions on different things and the Down Championships specifically, maybe, Simon, at the start. So Simon, he has his finger on the pulse there, so not to be missed, folks. Stephen Poocher, long associated with, I suppose he was with...
Mrs. Man originally, but he's actually with the Bridge at the moment, coaching the Bridge.
Very good, and of course he's down in the schools.
He's down in St. Columbans.
So Simon, we wish Stephen the very best in his venture on Destination Newery on Wednesday evenings, folks. Not to be missed, and of course tomorrow night, more live games on Destination Newery, more Down Championship games taking place. And don't forget the comments on the bottom of your screen. Let us know where you are, where you're watching from, and of course we'll read it out. Last night we got a phenomenal response, so hopefully tonight we'll get some more stuff coming in. And Simon, I suppose basically from our point of view, you know, Jean-Paul says it's a poor sporting weekend.
It wasn't a poor sporting weekend over here. It might have been a poor sporting weekend in France, but it wasn't over here.
Yeah, Simon, you know, as I told him, we have the local championships is up and running. The All-Ireland semi-finals is here. And then, of course, we had over in London, Simon, we had a fabulous Olympics again, and our local athletes, brilliant.
Phenomenal again. What can I say? Johnny Smith-Maglinton, wow. He is Usain Bolt.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, who needs Usain Bolt when we've got Smith? And Simon, you know, the speed that this guy ran at.
10.46.
It's unbelievable.
And for 100.
And like, I'm sure...
He won that 222.
It's phenomenal, Simon. You know, it's
22 seconds.
Brilliant, and fair play to them.
It was just and the atmosphere was just electric in the stadium. Like and it probably has changed people's approach to Paralympic sports.
Yes. I mean, I have to say,
like, you really can't really use the term disabled athletes because they're just athletes.
Yeah, and
that's just proved that over the past 2 weeks.
I would absolutely agree with you because I watched the Werewolf.
Oh yes, brilliant.
Right, he won the marathon today.
Yep.
So I think that's 4 gold medals.
4 gold medals.
And I can tell you,
800, 1500, 5000, and marathon.
Marathon.
That's some going.
It's phenomenal, Simon, and I have to say, everybody got behind them, and there's a young girl, McMahon from Clonerne. She's over there, and when they were, I suppose, getting everything ready and closing down over the closing ceremony, the Irish flag that was flying in the stadium, it was given to her today.
Yeah, right.
So was not a lovely thing.
But I just said across the board, when you're looking at some of the like, and the thing about the Paralympics too, like, okay, China dominated the medal table as we all thought they would, and Britain came second, joint second, I think, but sorry, just behind Russia, and like Ireland got its first spread of medals. Like I was watching like the Afghan discus thrower. Well, that's just, you know, you see like nations who probably wouldn't have a chance of winning gold in the Olympics, and like their athletes in the Paralympics have just surpassed what their own the so-called able-bodied athletes have done. It's an unbelievable effort.
It is, and of course, Simon, when we look up here and we see the Blade Runner,
yeah, Oscar Pistorius, yeah,
he got his gold medal.
Yeah.
And of course, I suppose probably if he was to roll back a week, he probably regrets.
Oh yeah, but he said that. But like, that's just all things, you know, considered. Like, but you have to give credit to, you know, the British athlete. He was phenomenal too. Like, it's just been a phenomenal festival of sport. Really has.
And I suppose, like, when we go back to the 100 metres in the Paralympics, the young English lad, 19.
19.
And I know, I mean, everybody was sort of tipping, okay, can Pretorius win it? Can the Brazilian guy win it? And who else? And I suppose the English ones, they were very confident of the young fella because he had the fastest time, saying.
Yeah.
And I mean, when he took off, he just zoom, he left everybody for dead. And
He
the way he controlled the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, he said he was amazed and he couldn't believe the feeling he got. And then he calmed the crowd down, and then they lifted him up again. And then he says when he was coming down that straight, he says he never witnessed anything like it.
No, I'd say the rush from that would have been just.
And Simon, when you look at that lad's story with meningitis, and you know how he battled through, a young man, and now he has the world.
Yeah, and it's just when you read like the stories behind the training regimes of these athletes, and you have to think also of the people behind. You have to give the credit where credit's due to the people behind them. Like it comes, as you know, it comes from the families first, and then their coaches. It's just a phenomenal effort,
and of course,
very well rewarded, obviously with.
Oh yeah, and we can't forget our own Lawrence McGivern, who had a fabulous swim last week.
Fourth last week as well. Unfortunately, she got injured and couldn't compete in the 200, which is just a pity. But you know,
so I suppose, Jean-Paul, if you're sitting thinking it's a poor week for sports,
it hasn't been.
It hasn't been.
And I'm just thinking of another thing. But what about Rory McIlroy?
He's just coming at the right time again.
Yeah, and he's in the lead again. He's in tight lead at the moment. You know, and last week, he was absolutely fabulous and kept his cool. Tiger was on the prowl, you know, and he just.
And I suppose, Simon, when you talk about people keeping their cool, let's look at Andy Murray.
Oh,
Andy last night, you know, he steadied the ship and he's in the final.
Yeah, like that was really bad conditions. Like they played last night. Like if they tennis, like there was actually a tornado warning in New York yesterday. A tornado warning in New York.
There was twisters out on the suburbs or the boroughs of New York, as they call them.
And so one stage, like I remember, his cap blew off and just blew halfway down the court, and I'm saying to myself, what effect would that have on the ball? You know. But
he showed good character.
Oh, he did.
To pull through. And Simon, just when we roll on from the tornadoes in New York and the tennis to the other side of New York, up to the Bronx, up to Gillick Park, where this evening, and I'm now looking at 7:30. So if we go back 5 hours. Probably maybe,
2:30.
Probably about now, Kerry, I think it's Cork and Leitrim are playing in one semi-final. And of course the connection there is McKeever, Donaghy and Clark. And we had Clark on last night, who was watching the match from Armagh. And then in the second match, we have Cavan versus Kerry, I believe, in the second one, and of course again Paddy McCullough from Camla and Ryan O'Hare from Ballymartin. Now, going to be 2 super games, Simon. It's just a pity Destination Newery wasn't in New York to stream that match live, and I would say if Dara was there, he'd be delighted to be doing that. But Simon, you know, I suppose when you think about something like that, and when you think of what Destination Newery is doing here in Newry, can you imagine if that game was being streamed live tonight from New York?
Yeah, it would be surely.
And even last week, the championships were San Francisco won the championships, and of course with the big Mayo Bridge connection.
That's right.
It would have been fabulous.
Just talk about here. Simon from Newcastle and County Down comes in, and he's actually in New York. He says, "Great job last night from all the expats in New York." There you go.
So there we have
Obviously watching the championship coverage, both in Armagh and down. Anthony, comment in Damian. What about the new Armagh backroom team? And he says a bit of a backward step. That's a bit.
I need to be careful here, Anthony. I know, okay, what he's talking about here is obviously, he's talking about Martin McCullough and Peter McDonald, who have been added to the Armagh backroom team.
Now, can I just go into
absolutely, yes.
looking in here?
Yes.
Now, everybody's complaining about this big North Armagh connection. No, that's the big South Armagh. Isn't that balancing the whole thing up, in your opinion?
Well, it does. It does. Sean's showing me notes here, but I can't see them. Simon, can you see the notes?
Back in 3 minutes. Break in 3 minutes.
Sorry, we're going to take a break in 3 minutes. We're going to take a little break in 3 minutes. But Simon, that's a good debate, because I know, listening to people, and if we go back to the Armagh Forum last week, there was a lot of debate on it, and it sort of, it came out. It surprised a lot of people, probably myself as well. It surprised me as well. I know Martin McCullough and Peter McDonald, super coaches, and were along with Louth there for a couple of years and done great work. So Simon, it is a lot of. There's a lot of debate going on about that one, and maybe sometime in the near future we'll bring a couple of people in from Armagh and we'll have the pros and cons about it.
Yeah,
is it a backward step? I would have to say no. I don't think it is, and the reason that I say that, Simon, is because very experienced coaches, they know what they're doing. The caveat.
McCullough was a phenomenal player.
Oh yeah, of course, and in many Railway Cups he played.
Phenomenal player.
But Simon, the caveat that I would put on it, I would sincerely hope that Armagh don't play defensive football, and they don't go into the defensive mode that people may think they do. And I would also hope that they would give the young footballers the room to do their business. I mean, we look at Joe Canning. Joe Canning's 23. Joe Canning has been playing senior hurling football for Galway. So my attitude, or my I suppose, what I would be saying is, if the lads are good enough out there in Armagh, they should be given the opportunity. Because if we look at what Donegal have done over these last 2 years, you have to be thinking forward, moving the game on, and I suppose, as John Morrison said last night, clear the head. If you have a clear head, then you can do the business.
Yeah. Kenny comes in. Nice work, lads. Thanks, Kenny. Tommy Coleman, I'm watching your show. Good on you. And Charlie says, Stephen Poocher played in the amalgamated club team against Dublin about 5 years ago. Forget the name of the show. What was it? Remember the show Stevie was in?
Oh, that was one of them.
Underdogs.
The Underdogs is right. Yeah, that's it. The Underdogs. Well, I tell you what.
So there you go.
If
Charlie, it was the Underdogs.
If you tune in on Wednesday night, you can fire that question to him. Yeah. I'm sure it'll bring back great memories.
Let's see. Well, Jim comes in. Will the Crop and replay be live in Destination Newery?
I'll be able to confirm that tomorrow evening, Jim. I have to say, from a cropping point of view, I would love it to be. I can tell you another thing, Jim. Sitting in the press box in Armagh, and you're watching the game, you're under serious pressure, and you have to try and keep a cool head. And if the sun is shining over from the houses through the big thick glass, it's very, very hard to see through. So, Simon, it was a great night last night for Destination Newery and for Carrickcroppin. So,
Tony, we need more youth in the Armagh backroom setup.
Well, that's just what I'm only after saying there a moment ago. Yeah. I think youth needs to be given the go-ahead, and I'll see. But we have to be fair, Simon, to Paul Grimley and his team. We have to give them the little bit of space that they require. Yeah.
Well, it's just as you say, give them a chance to see what they can do first.
Yeah.
Let's just see take it from there.
Well, we'll see what happens, but we'll keep this debate going, Simon, and maybe some people will try and get them in someday, and we'll have a debate. Anthony, if you want to come in and talk about it and give us your opinion, we'll definitely do that.
And now one in here, Damian, from the Bronx, New York. Mike Moore, watched the company match here in New York yesterday. Brilliant. Glad you watched it,
Mike, brilliant to have you on board. I know there's a couple of ones from Bestwick area is going to be going out to the big christening, and Mike was delighted. I mean, he was just delighted. So, Mike, it's great to have you on board from the Bronx and New York.
Just all over the world, Damian.
All over the world, as I said,
in New York.
From Tullysarn to Timbuktu, so we have them here in Destination Newery. Folks, we're going to take a little break here for a moment. Our production manager said, lads, it's time to take a break here, so we're going to come back in a moment or two.
Good night.
Give me a second, I need to get my story straight. My friends are in the bathroom getting higher than the Empire State. My lover, she is waiting for me just across the bar. My seat's been taken by some sunglasses, asking about a scar. And I know I gave it to you months ago. I know you're trying to forget, but between the drinks and subtle things, the holes in my apologies, you know, I'm trying hard to take it back. So if by the time the bar closes and you feel like falling down, I'll carry you home tonight.
And you're very welcome back to the Sunday Sports Show here with myself, Damian McCullough, in Studio B here on Destination Newery, along with Simon Burke. Simon, we had to take a wee break there. I suppose the commercialism of the cabaz of commercialism has to take over, and we have to thank Design Works Ireland for sponsoring our show here this evening. And Simon, we were just talking there about, you know, we have people coming in from all around the world this evening.
Yeah.
And, you know, Mike Moore's over in New York. He's enjoying the show. Mike, if I was you, I'd be getting down to Gaelic Park to watch them 2 championships.
Yeah.
There is a big local connection there, so let us know what you think on that one and see who's winning.
Got a few more comments in. John Paul, good show. Thanks, John Paul. John, Armagh Senior League Cup, St Patrick's 116, Armagh Harps 213.
116 to 213, that's 19.
19 all.
Draw.
Draw. Crossgar, 1987. Who will win the replay? Galway?
Oh, that's a tough one. Now, okay, I suppose I would have probably tipped Kilkenny today.
Well,
but Simon,
it's strange. It was the strangest All-Ireland. Funny, I was talking to my friend Boogie yesterday. Galway were not. Kilkenny were red hot favourites today, even though they were beaten by 10 points in the national final. Kilkenny were 1-4.
Well, here's one for you, and I put this out to you folks. The last time the manager had to go for the replay, the Galway manager, Simon, Breffni Park, Crossmaglen this year, what happened? Crossmaglen.
That's right.
Crossmaglen.
Crossmaglen just
steamrolled them.
The Masters, no. Could this win Galway's chance? I don't think it'll be like that, to be honest with you. I think the Galway are far too good a team. You know, on that day, Gary Castle probably had the game of their lives against Cross. On Cross,
and St Patrick's Day.
St Patrick's Day, and Cross did not perform like everybody knew that. You know what I mean? But dug themselves out of a hole.
Well, Simon, your call for that one: Galway or Kilkenny for the replay?
Davy Carr's going to kill me, but I think Kilkenny. I think experience will count through.
Okay, I'm sort of half sitting on the fence here, but what I do is I would love Galway to win, but I do admire Kilkenny, and I love what Cody does. So it's going to be nip and tuck.
It's going to be nip and tuck, and it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be as tight again. Like, to be fair, I honestly thought that today that Galway might freeze. Well, but they certainly did not.
No, they didn't freeze, Simon. And I think what they done was, if we look at how Galway performed in the game, you know, going back to the Carrick match last night, Galway, you know, they were beat, but they come back.
Yeah.
So that shows character. And I suppose when teams have character, it's very, very hard to dispel them. So
let's just say Galway. So Crubban versus Forestfields replay. Who will win? And that's coming from Joe.
Joe, I fancy Crubban. And why do I fancy Crubban? Well, if we go back to the game last night that was on Destination Newery, Crubban had a super first half. Right. They sort of took the foot of the gas in the second half. Probably thought that the game won, but showed tremendous character to come back. I mean, 30 minutes into the second half, Crubban was dead and buried.
Yeah.
And they come back and they got two great points. Now, I have to commend both goalkeepers on the two teams, because the two goalkeepers were superb. John McCullough and young Darren McAvoy in goals for the High Moss men. McAvoy took off 3 saves, Simon, in one save, rebound save, and another one a save, and very crucial time. John McCullough done the same as well, and a huge burn on the game. So I suppose I would have to say Carrick Crubban. I think if Carrick Crubban, they did play with a sort of a sweeper, and I thought that there wasn't, you know, the two inside men wasn't getting enough ball in. And if Carrick Crubban do what Sarsfield's done in the second half and go man to man and play the quick ball in, Simon, who knows? Yeah. Who knows? It's going to be a nip and tuck one again. And I have to say, listening and talking to all the people that was at the game last night, Everybody says it was probably the best game in the championship.
So far.
And then, Simon, guess what happened then? The draw was made for the semi-final.
Right.
So, what's the semi-final, Perrin?
The winners of your game against Cross.
Correct. And then, of course, Pearse Oaks and Cully and Simon, and the second match that we covered last night, Ballymcnab probably well beat, but they played awful hard in the second half, and they got 2 second yellow cards, which was an awful uphill battle. They fought hard. Ronan Clark made his appearance last night.
Well.
Great to see him on, and I was telling him after the match, he enjoyed it. And
Good.
it was great to see
And
Ronan.
was he on the whole game?
No, he came on the last 10 minutes, so his brother came off and he went on.
And how did he look? When
Oh, he looked good. He looked good, and he absolutely enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
I suppose Simon from
Like, he has just had an unfortunate couple of years, hasn't he?
he had he definitely had.
Yeah.
And of course on Friday night, Forkhill was beat. Simon, I fancied Forkhill to beat on Portmore. They didn't do it.
Yeah.
Killeavy in the I suppose the senior league. Killeavy 222, Whitecross 110. Killeavy are rocking at the moment.
Yeah.
And Stevie from
They're getting the
Killeavy.
benefits of Stevie.
Oh, yeah.
You know, having
So-
a full, year with him.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. And Silverbridge 110, St Paul's 3-9 the other night. Grange 212, Tiernogue 112. That'd been a cracking match. Drummond Seconds 2-9. O'Hanlon's 2-7. John Rafferty was playing there along with his son.
Was he?
Yes, indeed. And then the senior reserve last Monday night, Carrickcruppen 2-9, Pearse Oaks 11. And then we've got some fixtures coming in. Just looking at the senior reserve league, Carrickcruppen versus Ballymcnab on Wednesday night. That will be in Cruppen. And then we'll go back to the championship next week.
Yeah.
Senior football championship quarter-final replay at 3:45, extra time if necessary, in the Morgan Athletic Grounds. Carrickcruppen versus Silverbridge. The referee Ken Murphy, and then there's a full raft of
Yeah. Well,
fixtures on, so that'll be up on test.
I just give you the down ones. Of course, the senior football championship qualifiers. The Strava 313, Clonduff 214, which was covered here in Destination Area as well. Cracking game. I believe the Strava, the Fags and the McGee's, and Sean Power was at Stanton. And I hear Big Arthur McConville, a great game for Clonduff. Longstone 312, the Kingdom not 8, and Rick not 8. Big local derby, but I think it fizzled out. I saw a bit of the first half of that match, and Longstone were very, very good. Ryan Kelly scored an absolute screamer of a goal in that game. So he did. Of course, in the Intermediate Championship, Drumgath 1-9 and a Clone 2-5. As I said, that was the big surprise of the
down
round.
championship, yeah.
I did fancy Drumgath, just the way they played against us. I thought they were just, and the way Packy Downey, like, he could be a real proposition for Down again next year. He was on the panel a couple of years ago. Ourselves, we won Bosco 112, Breda 2-8, and also we'll just get the other results up here, folks. In Downpatrick, the Downpatrick Castlewellan game, Castlewellan 3-14, Downpatrick 1-8. So Castlewellan won that quite easily.
Well, just get the sound off here,
Yeah.
Simon.
And as I said, Agadurg beat the Mitchells by 2 points in the junior championships. And in the junior championship semi-finals, which have been drawn, Drummondess, Agadurg, Dundrum, Knockness of Finn, all through to the junior championship semi-finals. I have to call it, the old mate's team would be the favourites there. They'd probably even fly home to watch it. No, I'd say Dundrum would be the favourites in that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Can't see them getting beat there.
So it's a long flight from LA to Dundrum.
It's not flight from LA to Dundrum. But I said it was just great that the coverage was on. I mean, I say we're getting lots more comments in.
I just see that. I see
Yeah.
Anthony's telling me, I'm sitting in the fence team, why would Peter McDonald go back after 3 years out? We need fresh talent. Well, that's a fair comment, Anthony. I mean, I can't speak for Peter McDonald. Peter McDonald is a good coach. There's no doubt about that, Simon.
Oh, I know that. I know Peter obviously through teaching. He was very unfortunate. Like when he was in charge of Armagh, like what, he won 3 times.
Well, Anthony, all I can say to you is that the last manager from Armagh to win a championship
Was Peter McDonald.
was Peter McDonald. He won the Ulster Championship.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously managers live and die by what they decide. So, it's a hard one. It surprised me, but if I was thinking with Peter McDonald and Martin McQuillan coming into the Armagh backroom team, I probably would have said no, Simon. But I'm prepared to give them a chance and see how they get on. Mike Moore, thanks Damian for the plug. Great show, Mike. It's great to have you. And Owen, what about James McCartan? Should he stay or should he go? Aidan O'Rourke, his number 2 was in for the Monaghan job. Do Down have the players? Simon, that's one for you.
James. I think James is going to stay. Now, there's a big rumour at the moment that, as Owen says, Aidan's in for the Monaghan job. So it'll be interesting to see what way that pans out.
And what about Malachy O'Rourke getting the Monaghan job?
Did Malachy work at it?
He's getting as far as we know. Breaking news, as far as we know.
As we know. Well, that's funny. Well, I knew Aidan was in for it. So well, I didn't know he said it. Was rumoured that he was in for it.
Well, anyway,
But Malky got it.
So is it the Meath one? Was it whatever one? I think it's the Monaghan one.
Well, I think James, the Down had the players. You see, ever since 2010, people's expectations have gone through the roof.
Yeah, a little bit of a reality check is required.
Reality
here,
check. Now, don't forget, in 2009, Down were playing in the 3rd division. In 2010, we got the All-Ireland final.
Yes.
And got beat by a point.
And probably should have won it.
And probably should have won it,
Yeah.
you know. And I just think maybe people's expectations just went through the roof at that point. Now, Clark was a huge loss, obviously. Young Mooney's been a huge loss.
Yeah.
Okay. Damian Rafferty's been a huge loss. Was here with us last week.
Yeah.
You know, and like I was just looking at the team that played against Mayo. At the starting 6 forwards, how many started 2010 Ireland final?
Oh, you're going to tell me here.
2.
2. There you go.
You know what I mean? Mark Poland, Benny Coder.
Yeah.
You know, so like.
So things aren't as bad as.
I don't think things are bad. You know, I think I had to have a really. Okay, we got the Ulster final this year. People would say, "Oh, we got the easy side of the draw," but still got there.
Got the
you know
Ulster
what I mean?
final, yeah.
Now we came up against a phenomenal Donegal team, probably the fittest team I have ever seen. You know, and we got. Okay, of all intents and purposes, we got tanked by them, and then we beat Tipperary in a very hard qualifier halfway down the country in Westmeath. Came back. Okay, and then. Okay, Crook Park. Okay, we got a bit of a tanking from Mayo, but like, as somebody wrote in last week, they're the 2 teams who got the All-Ireland final. So,
that's right. Simon,
but I think it's just. I think we have to get a realistic check here. I think, okay, maybe a few more young players, and this. I think the championship at the moment, especially the coverage we're given to, might bring a few new players that.
It definitely is, Simon. It is definitely making people aware of what's going on.
You know.
Tom asked a question here. Name the great Down half forward line, probably the best ever seen in the game, which backboned the morning to the All-Ireland success.
Well,
in
Tom,
60,
my
61.
dad never stops talking about this half forward line. Sean O'Neill, number 10, Jim McCartney, number 9, number 11, and the great Paddy Doherty at number 12.
So there we go, Tom. We might be young, but we know what we're on about here. So, Simon, you know, I suppose, great footballers, them men you mentioned, legends to one and all. But you know, as the game moves on, how would them three men fit in, say, the Donegal setup?
Sean O'Neill would certainly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hey.
Sean O'Neill's in the Millennium team, like, you know. My father said he's the greatest footballer he's ever seen, you know. But like, he probably would be best because he's a Down man, you know what I mean? So, you know, and like, and if you go anywhere down the country and you know, just imagine Down.
Yeah.
Now, the older generation, obviously, they'll say, oh, Sean O'Neill.
Well, then again, Simon, I suppose when we move forward, I suppose another super footballer from Down in the 90s, played centre 3/4, Greg Blaney.
Greg Blaney. Oh, well, Greg Blaney was probably the best footballer I ever came up against. He was just, you know.
And then again, I suppose when I go back to think of Armagh, Jimmy Smith.
Jimmy Smith, yeah.
You know, another great man. So, Tom, you're bringing back great memories here, and if you have any more questions, and here's one, folks. If you would like your club featured here on the Sunday Sports Show, drop us a line and let us know, and we'll do a little feature on you, because as we're moving on, we're getting more excited every week. We do these things and we're coming up with ideas, and there's people firing ideas there's left, right and centre. And you know, this is the Sunday Sports Show, giving you local angle on and everything. And Simon, you know, we think about the local sport, and we have to go to the All-Stars this week, because we have them in front of us there. We look at the All-Stars. We look at the Irish News All-Stars. Paul Durkin, Donegal.
Yes.
Paddy McGrath, Dan
Yes.
Gordon, Neil McKee, Frank McGlynn, Carl Lacey, Anthony Thompson, Ryan Bradley and Joe McMahon in the middle of the field. Rory Cavan, Michael Murphy, Mark McHugh, Jimmy Clark, Colin McFadden and Conor Lavery. Now, Simon, we caveat here again. Michael Murphy centre 3/4. He was playing most of his football.
He actually started in full forward, and then he was
Yeah,
in full forward, and
so-
then middle of the field as well.
I suppose it is very hard to argue with any of them, you know. And then obviously the player of the year on the Irish News All-Stars.
But as far as actually, I would totally agree with that. McFadden.
I thought McHugh might have been in there.
Yeah, but I thought McFadden has been outstanding. He's been their go-to man. Murphy actually hasn't been as prolific as he was last year and the year before.
Yeah. But I suppose it's all about the team.
It's all about the team, correct? But
So-
McFadden has been the go-to man in that team. He's been out. He was phenomenal in the Ulster final.
Simon, when we look at that 15 there, is there any that jumps out that maybe should be or shouldn't be in there?
No, I would agree with that team. Yeah, I would agree with that team. People say to me, "What about Dan?" Well, Dan, I thought Dan was brilliant in the Ulster final. Even though he actually had Murphy quite subdued. You know, obviously Mayo did their homework and dragged him out in the quarterfinal. But like that's not the Ulster Championship. Connor had a great Ulster Championship.
So we would be,
Yeah.
we would.
The further we went, I think obviously when we were playing against Donegal and the supply wasn't getting into him. When the supply of ball got into Conor Laverty, he was absolutely electric.
So we
The
would.
game against Fermanagh and the game against Monaghan in particular, I thought he was outstanding.
So Simon, we'd be happy enough with that.
I'd be happy enough. What would you? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I can't argue. And I mean, you know, when we look at, I probably have, you know, if you play one match in the Ulster Championship, does that allow you to be considered for an All-Star I think that.
You may want to contain the Ulster Championship itself.
I think so. I think so. Because then the qualifiers, because it's not in the Ulster Championship,
Yeah.
it's outside the Ulster Championship. But hey, it's not, you know, I'm not, you know, you can't argue with any of them. 15
No.
men, any one of them would grace any team. But it just goes to show you, Simon, the Donegal, like, I mean, the back
Donegal
on
dominated, and rightly so, because they're one, they're in the All Ireland final, and two, they have been the team of the year, as far as I'm concerned.
No doubt about it. So
you know.
Simon, we
We'd
probably we would agree with.
For once, we're agreeing.
We're agreeing.
Here's one for you now, Damian. Talk about all-stars and great players. This is one you like. Peter Loughlin Senior, surely the greatest player to never receive an all-star. That's coming in from Johnny.
Johnny, I have to agree with you. Peter Loughlin was probably, yes, he should have got an all-star. He was one of them footballers. He could take free kicks, he could swerve around men, and the man was just dynamite. And Simon, you know, I remember the 1980 All-Ireland semi-final against Roscommon, and I remember he scored a goal from a sideline kick under the Hogan stand towards the hill, and the ball ended up in the net, and Armagh went in at half-time by 5 points, and Peter Loughlin, you know, Peter Loughlin was one of the best footballers never to receive an All-Star. I have to agree with you there.
I remember seeing him now, I remember going up with Harry coming to watch a match when I was about 13, 14, up in Croppin, and I remember seeing this boy with his hash, and I said, who's that boy there? Because as you said, he get the ball and he just...
Oh, it was superb. And Simon, you know, it's funny. Yesterday morning, the under-14s of East Down was playing the under-14s of South Armagh up in, well, the match was in St Paul's, but the lads were stripped in Carcroppin because the Croppin pitch is closed at the moment. But I was talking to the fella, the photographer, he was taking photographs, and he was saying to me, God, I remember Castlewellan playing here and Carcroppin stealing that one. And I says, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll tell you exactly what happened. Castlewellan were playing towards the clubhouse end in Croppin, and they were winning by a point, and Benji Toner took a quick free. And who intercepted the quick free? Peter Loughlin. Peter Loughlin soloed up the field, pushed the ball into Leo McCabe, and Leo lives in the point now. Leo run in towards the goalkeeper, and if people remember Leo again,
wee jink,
and he didn't kick the ball. He fisted it into the net, like he done that time, and Carcroppin won that match, and Peter Loughlin was involved in that one. That was up in Croppin in 1979, and it was a great memory. And Paddy, it's just great to put that comment in there because I think it's great, you know.
Susan, who are your up-and-coming guests?
Well, hopefully James Doyle, the handballer, is going to come in next week. We're hoping to try and see can we get some of the Armagh ladies in because they're playing. Well, they were supposed to be playing on the 30th, but maybe with a wee bit more time. The Armagh Championship Finals is on next Sunday, so obviously...
And, got a tweet from Benny during the week too, and he really enjoyed the show last week, so maybe we can drag him in.
Benny, you're more than welcome, absolutely, to come in. So, you know, we hope to get loads of people in. You know, there's, you know, if somebody would want somebody to come in, if you drop us a line, who should we get in? You know, but hopefully James Doyle, he did tell me last week that he's away playing handball today, and he would come in next week. And of course, we had Damian Raverty in last week. Damian enjoyed it, so you know, we'll see what we can come up. Hopefully, we can get Stevie McDonald, maybe Oisín, and there's a big night for Oisín last night.
Aye,
Oisín, this is your life.
Yeah, saw that.
So maybe we'll try and get
good.
Oisín.
Just have to give a shout out to Eamon Murphy. Eamon was one of the organisers of the Pips run this morning, Damian, 10k, and I started from Sculpt. I went out the towpath and came back in, and you know Pips, wonderful charity, don't fancy suicide, and there was 268 people took part in today, phenomenal. 10k race and a 5k walk, and the first in was a Brian McCullough from Dundalk. Damian, The man ran 10k in 33 minutes 50 seconds, and he wasn't even sweating. He was sweating. Look at him.
Funny enough, Pat McGinn ran that.
Pat this morning. I was talking to Pat this morning for that big Simon next before the start, and Stephen Mulholland came second in the men's, and Jim Donnelly, all the guys from Dundalk, came third. But phenomenal, 33 minutes 50 seconds.
Absolutely fantastic.
And the ladies' race, Kathy Rice from Newery City Runners came in first.
Well done, Kathy.
Fair play to Kathy. And Sinead Murda from Castlewell, I think, came in second. And Caroline Wade from Newery City Runners came in third in that race. And I have to say it was very well organised, and great morning up at Sculpt, up in the industrial estate.
So well done to everybody in the run today.
So Wayman, I say, here, give you a shout out. So Wayman, well done, and hopefully raise a lot of money for
Pips. Yes, and it's a great charity. So well done to all the runners. Simon, just before I suppose we go on to something else here, there is a press night next Friday night on the 14th of the 9th in the Carrickdale for the Armagh ladies, the march for the All Ireland. The match now has been put back to the 7th, so it's going to be good fun next Friday night in the Carrickdale. It is a press night. I know somebody says it's really not to meet the players and all that, but I really think it is. And if anybody wants to go to that, go up and see the girls and wish them well. And of course the press will be there, and hopefully they'll get a great response. Simon,
funny, I'm not funny never, because as you know, because a few of my
students
are playing there as well, but I must get their opinion about the game being moved. I'm sure they'll not be too happy either.
Yeah.
Paddy, don't think Big Dan should be in that team. What do you think?
Oh yeah, well look, we already discussed about Big Dan. Big Dan's a mighty player, and you know, when we look at that 15, you know, the team's picked. You know, everybody has an opinion, and he's there on merit. So well done.
Paddy, probably the fact of the matter is you're probably thinking because of Dan only really played one game in the championship.
Well, that's exactly my point, Simon. But obviously they've looked at the whole
qualifiers and the
whole lot. So well done to Dan. He gets it anyway. So Paddy,
it was his first award too. Like, you know,
that's another amazing statistic. So well done. What about the standard of refereeing in the Down Championship games this year? Seamus, you know...
Seamus, don't get me started.
No, okay. I have a soft spot for referees.
Because you are one.
Well, you know, I did referee for 23 years. And, you know, it is the easiest thing in the world, Simon, to criticise a referee. Because, you know, I always say, if you're going to criticise the referee, are you prepared to go out and do it? If you go out and do it, well then...
In any sport.
Fair enough, you can criticise the referee. But, you know... If we haven't got the referees, we don't have a game. So what we'll do, folks, maybe we'll try and get a couple of referees in from Down and a couple of referees in from Armagh, and we'll chat about the pressures that the referees are under. And the referees are under serious pressure. So, like last night, Simon, in the Carrick match, Jared Devlin refereed it.
Yeah.
And he actually came into the press box at the end of it, and I sort of, I grabbed a hold of him and got an opinion off him at the end of it. And I said, Jared, you've made a little bit of history here, because for the first time ever, a live game streamed here from the athletic grounds, and you refereed the match. And he didn't realise the camera was on.
Right.
And then I says, and Jared, by the way, you're live around the world here. And he goes, God, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. He says, that's super. So
how did he
superb, great. You know, he refereed the match very well. Yeah. But it is a hard job.
It's a terrible job.
You know,
I know, and I'm probably one of the worst, you know, on the sidelines as well, especially when young clubs playing. You know, it's the passion that runs.
But I think what people do, Simon, if it's your team's playing, you only see your side.
Exactly.
If my side's playing, I only see my side. But there's in between. That's you know. So.
Oh, of course there is.
And then we have another one here. Seamus or Paddy Fagan. Get Damian Ruddy in for a chat.
Oh yeah, get Damian in sometime, surely, Paddy. Don't you worry.
Damian's a good man. Yeah, Damian's a good man.
Damian, as you know, is big in the Bunsko.
Superman. The Caribbean League as well.
The Caribbean League too. And get Lawrence McGivern in for chat. Obviously, Lawrence would probably be celebrating right now at the closing ceremony. So.
Yeah. Oh, we'll hope definitely to get Lawrence down. There's no doubt about that. It'd be great to have him on board. And of course, Simon, Destination Newery, and this design. I suppose Design Works Ireland sponsoring this show. Without them, we probably wouldn't be here.
Johnny makes a good point here, Jimmy. Right, just going there now. And Women's Gaelic is not part of the GAA. Totally different association. But in fairness, if ladies at Crook are bad form to move to final.
Okay, Johnny. That's a fair comment. There's no doubt, but you know there was a sort of an agreement that they would get together.
Yeah.
And
they do have an office at Croke Park.
Yes, they do. And I would say, Johnny, if you were standing beside some of the very, I suppose, radical women that I know is involved in ladies football, they would be telling you a different story. Yeah. I know. Well, it is Gaelic football. And I know a lot of the ladies who play, particularly in our own club, the senior girls who play, they are a member of Carrick and GFC.
Yeah, all the members of the Bosco as well.
So you know, it's unfair to say they're not members of the association. It's probably one of them anomalies that has sort of happened.
Yeah. And
So-
funny you should say that, Damian. Yesterday I watched the Cork Monaghan game. Obviously you were preparing for
Carrick match,
match.
yeah.
And Cork won 215 to 0-12 against Monaghan in the championship. Now I have to say, Monaghan threw the kitchen sink at Cork and still couldn't beat them. And you know as well as I do, you were involved with me in the schools for a while, you know the level of football in Monaghan. And so Katrina McCullough, for example, we're getting on the man's team. But you see, young Kieran McInespy, another phenomenal player, Niamh Kendlin, just could not get through that Cork team. They were
An exceptional.
They are like what Kilkenny is to
Yeah.
ladies football. Like
They play Kerry in the final.
Not like Cleary scored one. Not like Cleary scored a goal and 2 points. Juliette Murphy is a phenomenal player in the middle of the field. No big blonde-haired girl.
Yeah.
She is wonderful. And like, you have to take your hats off to Cork. Just play Kerry in the final. Now to me, and you'll probably agree with me, Damian, yesterday's match was the final.
Probably, you know, and I suppose, Simon, you can't see Cork, you know, unless something really bad
Unless
happens.
Cork, no, unless they have another, so if they have a wedding in their street, and half a team can't go, I really can't see Cork beating the ladies' final.
I can't see it either, Simon. So it's going to be put back to the 7th, so we have plenty of time to wait on it. But Simon, I suppose, you know, Johnny, fair point, but Simon and myself would be serious supporters of ladies GAA, and we firmly believe, and this is my own thing, I believe that the whole composite of the GAA should be together and should be working hand in hand and helping each other. Simon, here's one to put out to you. And John Morrison last night, and Johnny, he's a great fella, he says now is the time for the GAA to have a World Cup. And Simon, I suppose when you look at what Destination Area done last night, streamed the match live. Can you think of all the places round the world where football has been played, or hurling?
Yeah, funny you should talk about that. I was in the gym in the Sports Centre last Monday, and there was a young girl came in to train, and she was on the cross trainer, and I was looking at the jersey, what jersey is that? Then I suddenly realised it was Paris Gales, and I actually played in the very first match.
You played the very first
in
match?
In Valois Prioro in 1982. Paris Gales was originally a soccer team as well of Irish expats, and they actually eventually came together and formed a Gaelic club. And it's a beautiful jersey. So like you're talking, and I know the French league's pretty strong, and the Pan-European league's pretty strong.
So Simon, you know, when John thinks about, and I mean, we did talk about this many years ago about a GAA World Cup. I think that is something that, and I know this year that I suppose it was launched in Croke Park, that bringing everybody back to Ireland and all that for the big thing today.
But here's one for you, man. I wouldn't play an Irish team. What about the provinces?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, why not? And there's 4 teams, and then you can have obviously the North Americans, you can have the Canadians, the Asians, the Australians, the Europeans. Hey, it's a great idea, and I think that's something that Croke Park should probably be looking at. And should it replace the Railway Cups and all that, Simon? You know, it might be the Railway Cup, all, you know, the World Cup, Railway Cup. It might be a great idea. Why not? You know.
Tell you what, Damian, this ladies' final move starting to really. No, Ciara, moving the ladies' final as if Irish women needed another reminder of the institutions of this country regarding them as second-class citizens. Well, Ciara, let me show you. Myself and this man have been involved in. We totally disagree with that decision to move the ladies' final.
Simon, we agree. Ciara, we absolutely agree with you. Ladies definitely are not second class. We believe that the ladies have got a raw deal in this, and we would say, particularly if everything has been put into place, hotels have been booked, and everything has been done.
Logistics and all that, Damian, it's just when you think about it.
We would be saying here now, and saying it very loudly, that the ladies' final was booked for the 30th in Croke Park.
The posters should all are up.
And it should be played in Croke Park on the 30th.
I think I have to change the poster in the school and write the 7th.
I know, so Ciara, we think it should be. Will the Sarsfields game be streamed next week? Can't make it back from Scotland, Demo. So well, I'll be able to confirm that tomorrow. We have a wee meeting tomorrow, so it would be great if it was. But folks, we're sort of rattling towards the top of the hour, and our production manager Sean here is telling us we're running out of time very quickly. I have to also thank Lindsay, our IT expert, because Lindsay keeps me right in all the technology that I'm involved in, Simon, and you don't really need that because you're an IT man. And we have to thank, of course, Design Works Ireland for sponsoring the show tonight. Simon, we asked them to design an app to beat Donegal.
Yeah.
They're going to have to go for another one. Who's going to win the next one? Kilkenny or Galway?
I said I fancy Kilkenny to win it, so you know, it's it'll be interesting. But I don't think it'll be like you think Kerry Castle Cross. I think Galway will step up the mark again, but I think Kilkenny's experience will take them over the line.
Simon, this is a good one. My sister-in-law came into the house tonight and I had the laptop open and there was a picture of the Galway manager, Anthony Cunningham. And I says,
Oh, yes,
I says, here Bernie, there's me in Crow Park today. God, she says, you get home quick. So, funny enough, there was a friend of mine, Donald, from Cork. He sent me that one and he says, that boy looks awful like it. Never dreamt about it. And then I sort of, he's probably more brains about football than me. I can only talk about it, but he can actually put the teams out. So folks, we're coming to the end of our Sunday sports show. We probably talk on forever and a day, but Sean has says that we have to call an end to it. So again, Simon, good night's entertainment. Of course, you'll watch everything on the Sunday game later on this evening, but you got it first here on Destination Newery. We did talk about the All-Ireland semi-final. We did talk about the ladies, and I'm sure that debate will rise its head over the next couple of hours.
Yeah. I think people are only starting to cop on now what's happening.
So yeah, you heard it here first on Destination Newery, Simon. Again, we're first to the fore in bringing you the news here on Destination Newery on the Sunday Sports Show. And don't forget, folks, tomorrow night live football from Park Asler, another live game, and then the Stephen Poocher show on Wednesday night. And if anybody wants to sort of bring Stephen back to the time that he played for the Underdogs, your chance is on Wednesday night. And get under the comments in the bottom of it and fire them out to them and ask him, did he ever make it? And that I can't remember, Simon.
He did. He scored. He played very well. They played. I think it was Dublin in a match, and Stephen was the free taker. Did very well. I think he scored 5 or 6 points that night.
So there you go. So well done to Stephen and the Underdogs back then, and of course Simon. Thanks to Simon. It's always great to Simon in, and our production manager Sean, and our IT expert Lindsay for all the help and getting this show. And folks, thanks a million for tuning in, whether it's today, tomorrow, wherever you be. We thank you very much. We wish our local lads that's playing in the New York Championships this evening, or even now, the very best. It's just a pity Destination Newery wasn't in Gaelic Park, New York, streaming this game back over here. there will be some demand for the lads to go to that one. Sean's going, I would do that, I would go there, but unfortunately we're not. We're sitting here in Railway Avenue here in Newery. And Simon, the hour has flew. We have to thank Shauna again for looking after us and keeping us informed that everything's going well. So folks, thanks a million for tuning in to the Sunday Sports Show. And of course this show will be up tomorrow evening, and the Carrick-Cruppen, Sarsfields, Ballymacnab, Pearse Oaks match will be up tomorrow afternoon. And don't forget, you can still put your comments in the bottom of the little box to let us know what you're thinking, and we take it from there. Yeah. So thanks a million.
Thanks folks. Good night now.